Thank you so much for listening to Rewiring Health. Before we dive into the episode, I want to share some exciting news. In January 2025, I'm going to be launching the Infinite Self Circle. This is a membership community where women just like you who have spent years abandoning themselves, spent years putting themselves last, prioritizing others' needs before their own, and silencing themselves in the process, who have dealt with health impacts of stress by living like this, are ready to step into the new version of themselves. This is a membership community where you will gain support from other women just like you who are wanting more in their life, wanting to feel fulfilled, a sense of purpose in their life, and feel like they have a sense of calm and inner peace for maybe the first time in a long time. If this resonates with you, I invite you to check out Infinite Self Circle. If you're anything like me, you may have found yourself caught up in the vortex of the holiday season. While it's a time that we can really enjoy company and be with family and friends and really reflect on the past year, it can also be a really challenging time for so many of us. A time that maybe grief is amplified, a time where perfectionism really runs rampant, and a time where maybe we feel like we're not doing enough. And no matter how hard we work and how much effort we put in, it just doesn't feel like it's enough. This can be such a time of emotions and stress. And while it's a beautiful time of year, it can also feel like an incredible burden. And so that's why I want to share with you 5 ways that you can honor yourself this holiday season. You can avoid abandoning yourself. And I want to share a story just the other day that none of us are immune to this. This is something I think we all experience, no matter how good our self-care routine is. We can get sucked into the idea that we have to just meet all the demands of everything. And I was putting our holiday card together, and it was just really challenging for me to do it because it takes a lot of time and effort to like put it together, get all the addresses, write down all the cards, everything. And I was just feeling like, oh my gosh, like this has been such a busy week for us. Our kid was sick. We, we're just doing so many things, trying to keep it all together. We were gone all weekend. And the idea of sitting down and writing these cards feels like such a burden. And if it wasn't for all the other stuff, it would be really not that big of a deal. But it's just that like one more thing, like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, I don't even know if I have it in me to do this. Like, but yeah, I feel that pressure because I know that I like for people to get our card. I like the idea of sending Christmas cards and thinking about others and just showing others that you care and you're thinking about them, especially people that maybe you don't see that often. And so just felt like pulled into that pressure of having to do it, but yet trying to muster up the energy to actually get it done. And so if you're like me, you may have felt that. Maybe you're feeling it with like wrapping the gifts or shopping or cooking or getting the house ready. It can show up in so many ways around this holiday season, or having to go to all these different obligations that maybe you're not feeling like you want to go, but you feel like you have to go or you should go. And if you're someone who tends to self-abandon, you're going to go, you're going to do all the things, you're going to hold it all together because that's just what you do. You do all the things that are expected of you. And then deal with the repercussions of feeling that exhaustion after the holiday season, that crashing time where you feel like all you want to do is just sit on the couch and relax and de-escalate from all that you just built up in dealing with the holiday season. And you can even kind of have that time where you're wondering, did I even enjoy it? Like it's just felt like a lot of work. It can be really tough to experience that. And so I want to share with you 5 ways that you can avoid abandoning yourself this holiday season. And they're just short things that you can implement in your day just to recognize yourself, to take a pause, create some space around yourself so that you're not just living in autopilot day in and day out, just trying to get through the season. Now, the first one to avoid abandoning yourself is a question. And this is a question that seems so simple, but it's one that we do not ask ourselves enough. And this is one that I have to check in with myself often. And the question is, what do I need in this moment? You may feel the pressure of taking care of everything and everyone else that you don't even check in with yourself. And so if you can take a moment and check in with yourself and say, okay, in this moment, what do I need? And you may not have the answer immediately. You may even not know what you need in that moment, but just checking in, asking yourself that question, you're getting your subconscious mind going to give you some answers of what you need in that moment. You're also taking the pressure off yourself. You're allowing yourself to feel heard by yourself. And so that can also decrease that stress response within your system. Can imagine a kid that was saying they needed something, you just completely ignore them again and again and again, or you never even ask that child what they need. How would they feel? They would feel stressed out because their needs are not being met. They would feel like they need to scream in order to have their needs be met. That's exactly how you're feeling when you don't check in with yourself throughout the day and especially throughout a very busy time like this. So ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? And if this is not your routine, find triggers throughout the day that you can use to ask yourself. So maybe you have a cup of coffee in the morning. Make that your trigger that when you make a cup of coffee, you're going to ask yourself that. Or maybe you're driving and every time you see you're stopped at a red light, you're going to ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? Or it could be every time that you see a red light in your house, a red Christmas light, or a car go by, you're going to ask yourself that. Whatever the trigger is, make it something that you see pretty consistently so you can check in with yourself and have that built in throughout your day. That is so crucial to be able to ask yourself these questions, have these built-in check-ins. The second one you're going to do after you ask yourself that question, you're going to just allow yourself a moment to sit. And this can be really hard, especially if you're really busy and you have a lot going on, but give yourself the gift of even 5 minutes. So you're going to ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? And then just sit with it. And your mind may be going a million miles per hour of all the things you need to get done, but reflect back into yourself and really just connect with your body. So if you feel like your mind is going, connect with your body. Notice the pressure of your feet on the floor or your butt on the chair. Notice the different senses that you're experiencing. So what are you hearing? What sounds, what smells, what tastes? Connect with your body and allow yourself 5 minutes just to have that moment of asking yourself the question, connecting with your body, checking in with yourself, and then you may see answers coming up that in this moment, I need to drink some water, or in this moment, I need to get outside. In this moment, I need to take a few deep breaths. In this moment, I just need to step away from all the craziness or the noise, whatever it is, your system will start to give you some of those answers so that you can start honoring yourself. Number three, when you take that moment of space, if it's just 5 minutes, you should have some techniques in your toolbox to bring your system from a stressed state into a more relaxed state. And these are these regulation techniques, these nervous system regulation techniques. There are a slew of techniques that you can do, but I'm going to share a few with you right now that will really help you transition from that sympathetic response, which is that fight, flight, freeze, stress response, to a more parasympathetic response, which is that rest, digest, restore. One simple technique is doing a physiological sigh. So it's as simple as breathing in your nose. When you feel like you've maximally taken in all the air, you're going to take another little sip in your nose, and then you're going to slowly exhale as slowly as you can. And then you're going to repeat that 3 times. That's one way you can transition your nervous system, relax your system, come down from that stress response. Another one you can do, especially if you feel like your mind is going a million miles an hour, is flattening your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Now, it may seem so silly to do that, but When you do it, you will notice that your mind quiets down, the chatter quiets down, and it gives yourself that break, that rest to just allow yourself not to be ruminating on everything that needs to get done. So if you don't believe me, try it right now and see and notice that you're going to notice that things quiet down in your mind a little bit. Another one you can do is to put your hands under cold water and then splash your face. So get cold water in your face. You can even hop in the shower and just allow cold water to touch your face. And while you're doing that, you can even just gently rub the side of your neck. And this will activate that vagus nerve. So it's going to allow the vagus nerve to be stimulated, which is part of that parasympathetic response. So this is again going to transition you into a rest, digest, restore response so that you can again settle your body, allow it to become more regulated and not so triggered by all the stress that's going on around you. Number 4 and 5 are going to be things that you can work towards throughout the day and throughout the entire season, and that is getting in nature and getting adequate sleep. Now, I know it may seem so simple, but there are a few ways you can really work that into your routine. Nature has natural healing properties, and the light that comes in from the sun is going to, again, relax your system and allow everything to settle. Nature has tremendous healing properties, and one way that it also helps you is that it allows you to have a more peripheral vision. So as you're just looking outside, noticing the trees, having a more distance vision, your system is actually going to settle. And fresh air, again, cannot be understated, but the fresh air will relax everything and calm your system down. It is releasing that energy that can be pent up from all the holiday hustle and bustle of what you're dealing with. Number 5 is an adequate sleep routine. So if you struggle with sleep, I'm going to give you a few tips that you can do to really get your sleep regulated. One of those is actually getting out in nature, but first thing in the morning. That early morning sunlight, what that does is it's going to trigger the release of cortisol in your bloodstream. And so now you may be saying, well, I don't want cortisol, and you may have a bad rap. But actually, cortisol in the morning is very good for keeping you alert and awake. The thing about getting early morning sunlight is that it triggers your circadian rhythm. So about 14 hours after that cortisol is released, that starts to dip down and then melatonin will increase, which is going to allow you to get to sleep at night. So by getting early morning sunlight, you are actually resetting your circadian rhythm. So just as important as that early morning sunlight is, it's also very important to limit your exposure to screen time before bed. So that blue light will actually create that sense of alertness in your brain and your body, and it will make it harder for you to fall asleep. So limit that blue light within about 2 hours before you go to bed, and you'll notice that your sleep routine will become much easier for you. So these are 5 things that I integrate into my life, have made a huge difference in allowing me to enjoy this season a little bit more. Not to say that I don't experience stressful moments, but I am able to bring myself back into an harmonious state much easier than maybe I did a few years ago. So again, number 1 is asking yourself the very important question, what do I need in this moment? Number 2 is taking 5 minutes to yourself so that you can check in with yourself. Number 3 is having nervous system regulation techniques. So again, I covered doing physiological sighs, flattening your tongue on the roof of your mouth, and splashing your face with water. Number 4 is getting out in nature. Get that natural sunlight in your eyes, allow yourself to breathe in the air, and look out into the distance. All those are going to allow you to regulate your nervous system and bring it into a more relaxed state. Again, number 5 is that sleep routine. So having a routine, sticking with it so that you can have a natural and harmonious circadian rhythm so you can get to sleep when you want to get to sleep and also wake up feeling more alert and ready for the day. So I hope these help you navigate this holiday season so you don't feel so overwhelmed, so burdened by all the things that you feel pressured to get done. And I really hope it helps you get centered within yourself and realize that these moments are fleeting. And if we get caught up in all the doing and trying to keep things perfect and trying to meet all the expectations that are put on us, we're only going to watch our time go by and wonder, did I even enjoy it myself? And going through that year after year can be really, really draining. And so honor yourself this holiday season. You deserve to enjoy this just as everybody else does. So if that means that the gifts aren't wrapped perfectly, so be it. If it means the house is a little dirtier than you wish it was, so be it. And if it means that you didn't get to bake all the sets of cookies that you do every year, so be it. At the end of the day, if you are feeling in a more peaceful state and you are feeling like you are more present, that is the best gift you can give to yourself and your family. So don't worry about all the expectations and trying to meet them. All you have to do is honor yourself, be the best version of yourself, and realize that you're worthy of enjoying this time and really tuning into yourself in this moment. I hope this helps.